do. So we're going to start on all fours. So taking your time and finding a way of resting on all fours. So equal weight into the hands as well as the knees. And then just moving your head from side to side. So we're just checking how our neck feels. So if you've been sitting all day or whatever you've been doing, you know, just take your time, and then there's no reason that your neck should feel any other way than what it does now. So if it feels a little bit tight, then just allowing that to be tight. Then if it's okay, turning your head to the left or looking past your left shoulder if possible, and then just easing the right elbow down. Try not to change anything in the left arm. And then bringing the left elbow up, turning the head to the right, and then just easing the left elbow down. So just taking your time, just continuing, turning the head to the left and easing the right elbow down. Coming back up, turning your head to the right and easing the left elbow down. So just carefully, just finding a bit of rhythm. So it's a good way of easing into the back of the shoulders, and the back of our shoulders can feel quite tight, especially, you know, if you've been sitting, working all day, which most of us have. And then when you're ready and it kind of feels doable, just come back to centre. So your gaze, what I mean by that is your spine is flat and your gaze is down between your hands. And then just take your gaze towards your knees and round your spine. So just breathe as you do, just breathing as you do, round spine. And then just taking your gaze forward, past the mat, maybe halfway up the wall in front of you, whatever's in front of you, and just let yourself sink at the back of the waist and sink between the shoulders. And then just taking your gaze towards your knees and maybe bringing your gaze in towards your belly button or your navel, base of the ribs might be, round spine. And then taking your gaze forward, between the hands, the front of the mat, and then just halfway up the wall. So between the shoulder blades at the back of the waist, just allowing yourself to sink. So rounding the spine. That's it, lovely. And then just sinking between the shoulder blades and at the back of the waist. And then just coming back to neutral. So now your gaze is down between your hands. And we're just going to send the crown of the head forward a little bit, past the fingertips. Then you're just going to ease your hips back a little bit towards the heels. So just now you're rocking forward a little bit and back a little bit. And just seeing how that feels in your wrist, because these things are quite hard on the wrist. And see how it feels in the knees. And it's always a good idea, even though I'm sort of saying these things are quite hard, is weight bearing in the hands, in the wrists and in the knees encourages circulation to those joints. So it's a healing process as well as something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable. And then the next time you come back with the hips up, just tuck your toes under if possible, ease your hips back a little bit, then send the crown of the head forward, tuck the toes the other way, and just ease your hips back. Lift the hips, send the crown of the head forward, tuck the toes the opposite direction, and as you breathe out, ease your hips back towards the heels, breathe in, lift the hips, send the crown of the head forward. Then as you breathe out, tuck the toes the other way and ease the hips back towards the heels. As you breathe in, lift the hips, send the crown of the head forward, tuck the toes in the opposite direction, and as you breathe out, just ease the hips back towards the heels. So you're starting to mobilise the feet, so soles of the feet, fronts of the feet, by just finding a bit of movement in the toes. And you know, our toes can be forgotten really. We only really take notice of them if there's any problem with them. So this just kind of keeps our feet healthy and mobile. And then when you're ready, just come back to neutral. Let the feet just be in a position that feels, you know, just feels okay. And then carefully, can you bring the hands a little bit closer towards your knees? Can you ease your hips down towards your heels? Just see how that feels. So if you have anything going on with your knees, obviously you're careful. Always be careful with your body. Maybe you can ease the elbows down. Maybe you can take the elbows a little bit wider. Perhaps make like fists with the hands so you can support the forehead on top of the hands. So just allowing yourself to really rest. Or I should say the weight of your head to really be given down into the floor. And this is a really good way of lengthening the lower spine. And just for a few moments, visualise the crown of the head, connected all the way back, travelling all the way down through to the tailbone. And then when you're ready, come back into all fours. Well done. come back into all fours. So the wrists are more or less underneath the shoulders. Now just visualise where the crown of your head is, then the base of your skull, then the base of the neck. Now the neck is part of the spine, so then just imagine, visualise the neck connected to those vertebrae between the shoulder blades. So when you drop the top of the head, or you draw the chin in, or you take the gaze towards the navel, just imagine the neck attached a little bit further down to the vertebrae between the shoulders. So when you lift your head, imagine you're lifting your head from between the shoulder blades. And then when you bring the gaze down towards the knees and in towards the base of the ribs, just imagine the neck attaching all the way down, a little bit further down between the shoulder blades. Then as you send the crown of the head forward, through the fingertips, the edge of the mat, and then up, just imagine the neck attached all the way down, maybe to the back of the waist. And then as you bring the gaze between the hands, towards the knees, towards the centre of the spine, imagine the neck connected all the way back through to the back of the waist or the centre of the spine, because it is. So you're not just moving your neck, you're having a sense of moving your spine. And then as you do this, take your attention all the way down through to the tailbone, the very base of the spine. So as you lift the gaze, imagine from the tailbone through the spine, right through to the crown of the head, you're moving, you're mobilising your spine. And as you bring your gaze back towards your knees and rounding the spine, that kind of happens, that movement happens from the crown of the head all the way down through to the tailbone. And then when you're ready, the next time you bring your gaze back towards your knees and in towards the centre of the spine, with that feeling of round spine, can you ease your hips back towards your heels? So ease your hips back. Settle for a few moments, not very long, and then when you're ready, come back up into all fours. Take your hands a little bit further forward, or maybe take your knees a little bit further back. We're going to take the gaze towards the knees, and that will round the spine, and have that sense from the base of the skull to the base of the neck, the centre of the spine to the tailbone, that whole sense of connection. So your gaze is towards the knees, and then as you take your gaze forward between the hands, you start to send the spine forward between the hands. So the spine follows. Allow the weight of the hips to rest down towards the floor, but keep a sense of coming up through the shoulders, and you just take your gaze forward. So you find that movement from the tailbone right through to the crown of the head. Then you can take the gaze down. We can round the spine and ease the hips back towards the heels, just a little bit. If nothing happened, just take your hands a little bit further forward or a little bit wider, or send your knees a little bit further back. So your gaze is towards the knees and you have a sense of rounded spine. Now take your gaze forward, between the hands, wide elbows, wide shoulders, and as your gaze, as the crown of the head moves forward past the fingertips, just allow the weight of the groin, the front part of the hips, to really rest down and lengthen, and your gaze just goes forward in front of you. But have a sense of being drawn up underneath the armpits. So you're not sinking at the shoulders. You might feel as though you're widening at the shoulders. It's your hips. The weight of your hips is allowed to rest down towards the floor. And then maybe by going down into the fronts of the feet, moving down into the knees, you can round through the spine to bring yourself back. So your gaze comes towards the knees, and now maybe send the gaze forward between the hands, the spine follows. Allow the weight of the pelvis or the hips to rest down as your gaze just goes forward. Imagine from inside underneath the armpits you're being drawn up. And you're just looking forward in front of you. And then just ease, rounding through the spine, ease your hips back towards your heels. And maybe just once or twice more, working in that way, but just being careful with yourself, so not forcing, not doing anything that doesn't feel quite right for you. Rounding through the spine, easing the hips back, sending the gaze forward, allowing the hips to settle down and your gaze to go forward, and feeling your breath. And then when you're ready, lift the hips and ease your hips back towards your heels. You can make light fists with the hands again to support your head. So just see how this feels in your knees, because if you've had enough, you can come to sit up, which is what we're going to do in a minute anyway. So then when you're ready, just coming up, bringing the legs in front of you, so you're coming to sit up. Just linking the wrists, and just circle the wrists just a little bit to kind of see how that feels, circling one way and circling the other way. And then just shaking the wrists off. And then we're just going to bend the knees, and we're just going to lean back. So from here, you're just going to let your knees drop one way, lift the knees, let the knees drop the other way. So you're leaning back and just rocking your knees from side to side, and hopefully that might feel quite sort of doable, quite easy. Just see how that feels, because if this is enough for you, this is all you need to do. And then just to progress it, we're going to bring the knees back to centre. You're still leaning back on your hands. Maybe you can lift the feet. You can bring the heels a little bit closer, maybe towards the right hip. Drop the knees down. Lift the knees, send the heels a little bit closer towards the left hip and drop the knees to the right. Lift the knees, send the heels towards the right hip, drop the knees to the left. So you might feel that more in your belly now. So we're kind of starting to work more in the central core muscles, but really leaning back into the hands if you need to. And your spine is, if anything, is rounded. Your gaze is down towards the floor in front of you. So you're not lifting the spine, you're not straining in any way at all. But you will find that those core central muscles will start to work just because they have to. You don't have to do anything else, but start to mobilise through the hips and start to move the heels. Right, and then just come back to centre when you're ready. Stop there. Your knees are quite bent. Maybe you can walk the hands forward a little bit and just rest the spine onto the thighs. Your gaze is down between the knees. Relax your shoulders. Feel your breath. And then we'll just progress it a little bit. If that's enough for you, you just stay with one of those, or you can just go back to doing this kind of thing. If you want to progress it again and work into sort of abdominal areas and strengthening lower back, take the arms away. So the arms go wide as though you're hugging, sort of maybe like a big beach ball or something. And then from here, you just drop the knees one way, come up, drop the knees the other way. So the feet are on the floor, but you're just not using your hands. And then if this feels easy for you, but only if it feels easy for you, we can progress it again. We can lift the heels and we can send the heels one way and the knees the other way. We can lift the feet, we send the heels one way and then the other way. So you kind of get that, see if you can find that rocking kind of motion as well. It's a really good one at strengthening lower backs and finding the core deep muscles, as well as mobilising hips. Make sure you're breathing. Maybe once or twice more each side. Just kind of get that sense of how that movement feels. And then when you're ready, just stop in the centre. You can lean back for a few moments, take the feet a little bit wider, and then perhaps you can move forward for a few moments. Drop the chin round the spine. And then just see how that feels in your lower back. Find your breath, settle. And then when you're ready, just carefully in your own time, we're going to come up to stand. So coming up to stand, just adjust the screen. So the soles of your feet flat to the floor. And if you have a mat, just come to the back edges of the mat, or edge of the mat. And then we're just going to step forward with the right foot. Soften the front knee. Lift the back heel up and down a few times. Just make sure you have a bit of mobility. Then as the back heel goes down, just find a sense of connection down through the floor. So both knees are quite soft. You're not locking any of your joints. And then just lightly swing the arms from side to side. So just starting to mobilise the upper part of the spine. Especially if what we did on the floor, you sort of, especially through your wrists as well, if your wrists feel a bit achy, you can move the fingers and those kind of things. So all these things improve circulation. So just rocking from side to side, come to centre, take the arms forward and take the arms up. Just a few times. Now you're just rocking or swinging the arms forward and back rather than sort of in that circular way that we were before. And then we can start to connect the gaze. So when the arms go up, take the gaze up. When the arms go forward or fingers go forward, gaze goes forward. When the arms go down, gaze goes down. So you're just kind of connecting that movement of the gaze or the eyes or the neck with where your arms are. Just moving the arms up and down. And then when you're ready, just stop with the arms resting down. We're going to take the left hand on the base of the ribs. We're going to take the right arm up. If possible, turn your gaze, look up towards the right fingertips. Now relax the weight of the right arm back towards the shoulder, and just, if you can, just take that right arm a little bit behind you and your gaze is up towards the ceiling, only if it's okay with your neck. And then the left hand can rest on the back of that left thigh. Then as the right hand goes back a little bit, ease the left hand towards the back of the left knee. So that will take you into a back bend, quite a strong back bend really. You don't have to lift the chest, You don't have to do anything because your body will do it for you. Make sure you're breathing, and then when you're ready, take the right arm up, take the right arm forward and step back. Bring the left foot forward. We do the same on this side. Soft knees, and carefully just swing the arms from side to side. That will just help mobilise the shoulders and free up the ribs a little bit. So just working through the upper part of the spine. And your gaze can follow. Notice how your neck doesn't have to, your head doesn't have to lead. Your head can follow the fingers. The head can follow the arms. And then come back to centre. Then again, take the arms forward. As the arms go up, the gaze goes up. As the arms go forward, gaze goes forward. As the arms go down, gaze goes down. So you're just following the arms with the gaze. You're just kind of working that movement. Softening the shoulders, feeling your breath. And then when you're ready, the left arm goes up and the right hand just rests on the back of the right thigh. Then just as your gaze is up towards the left fingertips, just slightly let the weight of the arm, left arm rest down into the shoulder, and just take that arm ever so slightly back, and your gaze is up towards the ceiling, and you feel that opening in the throat from the chin to the collarbones. As the right fingertips ease down towards the back of the right knee, the left arm can go up, and that will you will find that extension of the spine. So don't go too far. If it's too much with your back, you just come up a little bit. Just kind of see where you are. Really be aware of the weight of your head. And then when you're ready, just bring the left arm back, forward and down, and step back. So just balance the weight between the feet, and then when you're ready, the right foot goes forward, right foot forward. Right knee bends slightly, so you have a sense of connection down through the floor. Both arms go forward, and then as both arms go up, your gaze goes up. And there's space between the hands, almost as though if you take the hands back a little bit, it's almost as though you're trying to catch a big beach ball or something. And then your gaze goes up, and the weight of the arms rests into the shoulders. Imagine your knees moving forward as the arms go back a little bit, and you feel your breath. This will bring the breath into the upper part of the spine. And then when you're ready, take the arms forward, bring the arms down, and step back. Step the left foot forward, bend the left knee, and the right heel, the back heel, settles into the floor. The left knee moves forward as you take the arms forward, as you take the arms up. So there's wide space between the arms, and you can move your head so you're not compressing your neck or anything like that. But you're not stretching. The weight of the arms rests into the shoulders. If anything, you can go a little bit wider with the arms. And then as the hands go back, as though you're trying to catch a ball that's flying past your head, your gaze can go up, but send that front knee forward. Feel your breath. And then when you're ready, take the arms forward, take the arms down, and step back. So we're just going to do that little sequence one more time. We take the right foot forward, we bend the knees, and the right foot isn't in front of the left, it's out to the side. Shoulders rest, and have that sense of the shoulders resting above the hips. Find the outside edges of the feet to get a sense of strong, stable base, or connected base. Then the left hand can rest on the back of the left thigh, the right arm can go up. Take your gaze up, and then as the left fingertips reach, you'll kind of trail down towards the outside or the back of the left knee, the right arm can go back. Make sure you're breathing, and then when you're ready, come back up, lower the right arm, step back, left foot goes forward, knees bend, the right hand rests on the back of the right thigh, the left arm goes up, your gaze can go up, and as the left arm just kind of slides back, imagine the fingertips sliding along the ceiling, the gaze goes up, the right hand goes down towards that back of the right knee, and you feel the opening around the left armpit, the ribs. Your throat is open, so try not to close the throat, and you're breathing. And then when you're ready, you come back up, you lower, and you step back. Well done. Right foot goes forward, send the right knee forward, your gaze goes forward, the gaze goes forward, the arms go forward, but relax the shoulders. And as the arms go up, your gaze goes up. The weight of the arms rests into the shoulders as you send that right knee forward. Your gaze goes up towards the ceiling. Make sure you're breathing. And then when you're ready, take the arms forward, lower the arms, and step back. Left foot goes forward last time, left knee moves forward, lift the back heel a few times, just make sure that you can. Then as the back heel goes down, try not to lock the back knee, and the front knee travels forward. The arms move forward, your gaze is forward, and then the arms go up. The weight of the arms rests into the shoulders, and you feel your breath. Maybe take the arms a little bit further behind you, and that will lift your chest. You don't have to do anything other than that. Feel your breath, and then when you're ready, taking the arms forward, lowering, and step back. And then just find a place so your feet are at least at width apart, and find that stable base down through the soles of the feet. Relax your shoulders. Let your breath settle. Then if possible, just take the legs a little bit wider or the feet a little bit wider. Soften the knees. Let the hands come to rest on the thighs. Then maybe bring the hands onto the knees. And underneath your hands, your knees are quite bent, so you're not locking your joints. Wide elbows, wide shoulders. Now draw the chin in, as though the crown of the head can point down towards the ceiling. Find the outside edges of the feet, outside edges of the shoulders. The base of the big toes stay down. Imagine you're going to lift the heels, because then you might find that the legs are straightened. Find the back of the waist. Imagine that part there is being drawn up as your hands come a little bit closer down towards the ankles. Feel your breath in your body. And as you breathe out, perhaps the crown of the head might go a little bit lower. Wide elbows, wide shoulders. But really having that sense of connection down through the feet. Then bringing the hands back towards the knees, round your spine, draw your chin in to bring yourself back up to stand. Settle for a few moments, bring the legs or the feet a little bit closer in. So make sure you feel okay, because it can make you feel a little bit dizzy, obviously, when your head is below level of the heart. So go careful. You don't have to take your hands any lower than your knees if you don't want to. We're going to go again. Take the feet out. Maybe go a little bit wider, but never go so wide that you feel, that you might slip or anything like that. You can lift the heels. You can lift the toes. You can bend the knees. You can find the outside edges of the feet, because all these things plant you quite strongly, connect you to the ground beneath. Hands rest on the thighs. Maybe take the hands onto the outside edges of the knees. So find the outside edges of the feet, outside edges of the knees, wide elbows. Your gaze is down towards the floor at first. Take your attention to the back of the waist, round the back of the waist, or imagine you're rounding the back of the waist, and allow the crown of the head to come down towards the floor. Imagine what it would feel like if you were going to lift your heels. So send your weight more into the front parts of the feet to get a sense of how it would feel if the heels were going to lift. Maybe your fingertips might come down onto the floor, and really allow your neck to release. Let go of your neck. Soften your jaw. And feel your breath in the back of your body. And then when you're ready, walk the hands back towards the knees, rounding through the spine. Bring yourself back up to stand. Bring the feet in a little bit, and then just stop. So have that sense of the shoulders, the hips, the knees, your ankles and your feet. That whole sense of you connected to the floor. Drop your chin a little bit, and then lift the chin. So just focus on something in front of you that's not moving. So find a way of standing that feels quite comfortable, where your head can feel balanced. And we're never equal. There's always this idea of perfect posture, but the way you stand is the result of habits and patterns. So it's difficult to change, but what we can do is just be aware. Feel your breath and everything settle, and then when you're ready, come down onto the floor. I'm just going to change the screen again. So when we come down onto the floor, bring the soles of the feet down and your knees are bent, and so you just come into this kind of position, so semi-supine. So knees are bent, space between your knees, space between your ankles, and just place your hands onto your belly, onto your abdomen. Just for a few moments, just feel your breath. And you can, if you like, because we hold so much tension in our belly, just rub your belly a little bit. I know it might sound a little bit odd, but when we do this, it makes us realise how much we're pulling in or tightening up. So just rub the belly a little bit one way and then the other way. And then just let the hands settle and let your belly soften. So underneath your hands, you can feel your breath coming in. And then underneath your hands, you can feel your belly sink as your breath leaves. When you breathe in, when you breathe in, the belly rises. And when you breathe out, your belly falls. So just settling into that breath, that breathing pattern, just being aware. I'll just send the dogs out. So just being aware of your breath as it comes in and as your breath leaves. And then when you're ready, drawing the right knee in towards you, right knee comes in, breathe in. And as you breathe out, send the right leg away so it's hovering off the floor. In breath, draws the knees back in. Out breath, lengthen the leg away so it's hovering off the floor. And then just doing that a few times, just working with your breath and that movement of the leg. And that connects you into what's going on with the belly. In breath, draws the knee back in. Out breath, lengthens the leg away. Then the next time your knee comes in, just take the hands underneath the knee, knees the knee down. Draw your chin slightly down, circle the right ankle. Then let go, bring the right foot on the floor, draw the left knee in towards you. Hands underneath the knee, ease the knee down, circle the left ankle. Then let go, let the hands come to rest on the belly, be aware of your breath coming in. And as you breathe out, lengthen the left leg away, so it's hovering off the floor. In breath, draw the knee back in. Out breath, lengthen the leg away, so it's hovering off the floor. In breath, draws the knee back in. Out breath, you lengthen the leg away. So just connecting into that feeling of your breath and feeling what's going on with your hands resting on your belly, feeling what's going on deep inside there in connection with the leg and in connection with the breath. And then when you're ready, left knee comes in, breathe as you need to, ease the knee down with your hands, then draw the right knee in. Ease the knee down with your hands and then just rock from side to side. It's a really good way at massaging the lower spine and the back of the waist. Just easing into the back of the body. Come to centre, bring your feet back on the floor, lightly place your hands back onto your body, onto your abdomen. And just go back to where we started. So when you breathe in, you feel your belly rise. And when you breathe out, you feel your belly fall. And you settle and you stop. And you just allow yourself to feel how your body is. If you need to shift or make yourself a little bit more comfortable, then that's what you do. If you need to move your shoulders, if you need to move your hips. But ultimately what we're trying to do with all these practices is find a place where we can slow down, where we can feel what's going on inside our bodies, not just that sense of what we look like on the outside, but what does it feel like on the inside? And all the movements and all the shapes that we can make are there just to allow us to find a sense of what's happening on the inside of our body. Because ultimately our breath is inside us, and health comes, well-being, a sense of well-being comes from the feeling, not from what we look like, but from how we feel. So feeling your breath as it comes into your body, feeling the response of your body, feeling your breath as it leaves your body, and the response of your body. And knowing where you are right now, and knowing that everything is just as it is. So as the practice comes towards its close, noticing how you feel, how your breath is, how your body is, and just when you're ready, starting to move your fingers, maybe rolling your shoulders, moving your toes, maybe rocking your knees a little bit from side to side. Just starting to move really. You can open your eyes, you can stretch the arms overhead if you like. If your knees are still bent, you can stretch the legs away. Just doing whatever feels right for you. Till you feel ready to come to rest on your side. So taking your time. I mean, you can decide to stay resting a little bit longer if you want to. And then when you're ready, just coming to sit up, to allow yourself to come back to the rest of the day.